So I spent the last 3 months in Japan. It was honestly one of the best 3 months of my life. And coming back to America, man, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I want to talk to you all about my experience in Japan. Now I get so infuriated at the idea that America is the best country in the world, because it's not. Anyone that tells you that has either never been outside the United States or is just that ignorant. Or perhaps if they have been outside the country, maybe they've been to like Aruba, maybe they went to like the Dominican Republic or Jamaica and stayed in one of them fancy hotels in their foreign bubbles, if you will, you know, not really immersing in the experience of the country. Transportation system in Japan is superb. It's amazing. You can get just about anywhere in the entire country by train, bus, taxi. It's amazing. Their train system is so sophisticated. They have different systems of trains. They have a metro system, they have a transit system, they have a countrywide. Here in America, it's very car-centric. Everybody relies on cars, everybody has to buy a car, people have to have multiple cars per family. If you look at Japanese families, most of them have one or no cars per family. The majority of them have a car, but if they do, they only have one car. And they fit it in their little tiny garage because that's all they need, right? It's amazing. It's awesome that you have the ability to use different methods of transportation instead of relying on just needing a car to get everywhere. Especially frustrating when you have to get somewhere that's about 2 minutes away by car, a place that would take you about 10 minutes by foot, but you literally can't get there because a lot of the roads here are unwalkable. This whole road, a good portion of this road barely has any sidewalk. Along a lot of these major roads, there's barely any sidewalk. It's very unsafe for the majority of pedestrians for them to walk on. And thus people have to rely on cars to get everywhere. And it's just, I don't know. I think that sucks in my opinion. The ability to get just about anywhere on foot, especially like where I was living, and in the majority of places that you can live in Japan, you can walk 2 minutes to a convenience store, and it's like, wow, awesome. Because we have a lot of these zoning rules in America that this entire area has to be a residential area, right? In order to get to, there's within a mile of here, I don't think there's like a single store or a gas station around here that you could get to. You have to get there by car. And let's say you have a bad day, your car breaks down, blow a tire, whatever, all that kind of bullshit. How are you gonna get there now? There's no buses around here. There's not a single bus system. There's not a single sophisticated bus system around here. The bus system that's here in New Jersey is absolute garbage. The only people that use it are people in the working class, people in poverty. I feel like that alone says a lot about a country. If the majority of people that use your transportation system are poor people, are people in poverty, then I feel like that says a lot about the state of your country. In Japan, it doesn't matter if you're upper middle class, lower middle class, working class, hell, even people in poverty. They all use a similar, if not the same type of transportation system. If your car breaks down, okay, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You can take a train to work. You can take a bike to work. There's so many places that are bikeable in Japan. Everything is so dense. And this doesn't just go for Japan. This also goes for a lot of places in Europe. I've also been to the Netherlands, right? Has a very sophisticated train system. All across Europe, there's a very sophisticated train system. You can bike anywhere. There's walkable cities everywhere. The majority of these places here are unwalkable, right? Because of that, there's no sense of community. And that's really my second big point, is that in America, there's no really sense of community. You barely know your own neighbors. You barely see people. I barely see my own neighbors. And perhaps that's changed over the past 20 years because I remember growing up, I would interact with my neighbors. I'd go to, in our fellow cul-de-sac, I remember we'd like actually go outside and like be kids, right? But no, it's not that way. A lot of these kids are like, grow up with iPads, they stay inside and do who the hell knows, you know? Everyone's so introverted, everyone's so disconnected here in America. It's really sad when you barely know your own neighbors, right? In Japan, within communities, there's barely, from my perspective, there's not really neighborhoods per se, but there are residential areas. In a lot of these residential areas, like at the very least, like, you know the people that you're surrounded by, especially considering that Every Saturday, every time I'd go to a park, any small park, anywhere in Japan, it'd be packed with people, families, children, playing in the park, playing in the whatever playground equipment they have, you know? Families interacting with each other, people playing outside, playing soccer. I would go out on runs in Japan. I would run along a river in Japan. Very beautiful area. There's a levee system that surrounds the river, with a road path on top of it, and surrounding it are fields for people to play soccer. Like, you have like soccer matches going on, a lot of baseball. Baseball is pretty huge culture in Japan. Yakyu, I believe that's the name of it in Japanese. And then they call soccer saka, which I find pretty cool. It's one of the few places outside the United States that they call soccer saka. There's such a strong sense of community. Everybody's outside. A lot of the kids can bike outside on their own. Like, they'll bike to practice, they'll bike to and from practice. That's so cool. Like, you don't need I love soccer moms and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, you don't have to rely on soccer moms getting you to and from practice, because you could just do that yourself. You could bike that yourself. And that's another big point, is that children in Japan, you notice, like, at a very young age, they're independent. A lot of them, not like, actually, I'm not saying like financially independent. I mean, like, they're able to go out and walk on their own. Yeah, you see kids as young as like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old walking out by themselves. And that, I find that amazing, right? They don't have to, because kids here, or rather, kids in Japan don't really have to worry too much about their safety. Obviously, there's still creepy people out there, but I just find that amazing. It's like, you know, as a middle schooler, as a high schooler, you can take the train by yourself and not really have to worry about other people, because fellow Japanese people, because it has that sense of community, they'll look out for you anyways, right? You can walk to school, you can bike to school. You don't have to rely on your parents to get you to school. That allows the parents to, like, do stuff for themselves. The kids can kind of do their own thing at a young age, and it gives them a sense of independence. And thus, by the time they get to adulthood, they can actually flourish and feel like adults, instead of having to be sheltered most of their lives because they don't really know what it's like to interact with the outside world. Yeah, and another thing is crime rate's low. America's crime rate's drastically increasing. In Japan, like, yeah, crime happens, but it's like, you're really a lot less likely to worry about something happening to you when you're walking outside, you know? Especially considering, again, people look out for each other. It's very peaceful amongst one another. And also, like, people, at least as a foreigner, me experiencing Japan as a foreigner, being embedded in the society through school and living within the residential areas, I was treated very well. I was treated with respect 98% of the time, right? So you can go to Japan as a foreigner and know pretty well, especially if you're putting effort to speak the language, people will treat you with respect, and I love that. And that's another aspect, is Japan has an identity. They have an identity for themselves, and they won't allow outside influences to change their identity. And I feel like that's really a big problem with America right now, is that it's like America is this one big melting pot, but in my opinion, I don't think it's really helping the country at all. I really don't think so, right? Because we have so many political conflicts amongst one another. Nobody can get along because we all have different beliefs. We all have different ideologies. There isn't one sort of American identity anymore. It's contributing to a lot of these political issues. We're so divided amongst one another. Nobody wants to get along. There's barely any of this, like, serious political divide amongst one another. You don't have Japanese people arguing amongst one another. Yeah, there's definitely, there's a more moderate group, there's a more conservative group, there's a more liberal group. There are people in Japan that want to politically progress Japan and move out of the traditional things that are sort of holding them down. But for the most part, there's a good balance between traditionalism and progressivism. And I think Japan is slowly moving into the idea of progressivism, but I feel like they're doing it in a way where it's benefiting as many people as possible. Also, food in Japan is amazing. Damn, no, I think Japan has the best food in the world. It's amazing. It's, for the most part, it's pretty damn cheap. You know, you can go to many other restaurants and you can get a crap ton of food for a pretty damn low price. Groceries are relatively cheaper. I would say fruits are definitely pretty damn expensive. But man, I miss it. I do miss it a lot. The damn food is good here because you try to get a bowl of ramen here, it's like $20. It's ridiculous. Who wants to pay $20 for who wants to pay $20 for a bowl of ramen? That's dumb. Pay like $8 to get good quality ramen, damn good broth with good noodles, lots of veggies, and a nice pickled boiled egg. It's amazing. It tastes delicious. It is the best thing ever. And most of the foods of good quality, you go to a convenience store and you can find solid quality food. Obviously, like, it's food from a convenience store, so it's not like the most optimal, but it's miles better than in America. And as I was saying before, it is cheaper. It's damn good food for a solid price. Because especially when you go to the South, actually just about anywhere in America, but particularly in the South, you go to a convenience store, it's just a lot of garbage. All of it's garbage. Just a bunch of chips and crap, candies, garbage drinks, with a lot of ingredients that they would never dare bring to Japan. A lot of ingredients that are also banned in Europe. Yeah, if there's two things that I would say America is good for right now, it's making money and getting a higher degree education beyond undergrad. But for now, I just don't think that. I'll be quite honest, I don't think this country's for me anymore. I don't know how many of y'all feel about that way anymore. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that feel frustrated with the state of America right now. There's a lot of political divide, a lot of civil unrest going on amongst us, and I think it's just all blowing up in front of our face. And in my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, but it's this group or it's that group, you know, it's left, right, Republican, Democrat, all that kind of bullshit. And then those same people will think, oh, once my party gets in charge, then things will be better. Well, we've had a bunch of back and forth over the past 10 years, and it hasn't gotten better, and this country's not going to get any better. So as soon as I find the opportunity, I'm leaving this country. It could likely be Japan. I've been studying Japanese for the past 3 months. I'm going to be continuing to study. I'd say right now I'm about N5 proficient. I want to try to get to N3 proficient over the next 3 months. I don't know how realistic that is, but at the very least, like, get to N4 over the next 3 months. Yeah, and then just leave this country first opportunity I get. Because, I mean, my parents are leaving over the next 2 years. They're going out of the country. They're going to South America. So I have no reason to stay here. I really feel like I'm not really going to be leaving anything aside from like a couple of very few select people in my life. I feel like I'm not really going to leave anything behind. My goal over the summer is make a fuck ton of money and get out of here. That's my goal. And honestly, majority of you guys should be doing the same too. First opportunity you get, leave this country. There are a lot of amazing countries out there. America's not the best country in the world. Please listen to me when I say that. I've been to many other countries. I've been to several countries in Europe, been to South America, been to Africa. Finally, I went to Japan. There's so many better countries out there. You don't have to stay in America if you don't want to. Of course, it's easier said than done. A lot of you guys might need the money to be able to get out in the first place. But also think about it this way. There are many countries outside the United States where your dollar goes far, right? Right now, even in Japan, the dollar is very favorable right now. Give it a try. I'm trying to figure out what else more to tell you. I just wanted to rant because, like, I'm sick of America. I really am. I'm tired of it. There's so much garbage. The people here suck. Most people here in America suck. They're narcissistic, materialistic as hell, right? It's just not for me. I'm not the type of person that's materialistic as hell. I'm gonna grow my online business. I'm gonna try to make bank, and I'm gonna get out of here. I am telling you guys, you should do the same. Please listen to me. At the very least, just get the opportunity to explore different parts of the world. If you have the means to do that, if your parents have a fuck ton of money, do it, please. You will not regret it. And then you will really see what life outside of America is like, and then you're gonna be like, damn, America's primitive as hell, because that's essentially what it is. America's just mad primitive. I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm just ranting, maybe I'm just bitching. Maybe I'm just in an emotional state after being in such a dope country for so long. So, I don't know, man. Quality of life isn't. Yeah, you can make a crap ton of money here in America, but the quality of life isn't there. Most people here are miserable. You could be working class, middle class, upper class. It doesn't matter. And I know that because I'm in one of the wealthier cities in New Jersey. And people here are miserable. There are a lot of miserable people. A lot of the kids are miserable. A lot of them are on drugs. A lot of them are addicted to a lot of shit. A lot of them are alcoholics by the time they get out of college. A lot of them are getting degrees that are becoming useless to them. Most people in America don't feel important. One of the nice things I like about Japan is people in their jobs, they take pride in everything they do. Everything they do with their work, they take pride in it. And you can see in their face, you can see in their attitude, they have such a positive mentality going into work every day. And they work a crap ton more. People be bitching about working 4 hours a day. A lot of people in Japan work about 10 hours and they still put a smile on their face. Customer service in Japan is amazing. I miss it. Also, the women are better there. If you're a guy watching this video, American women suck, bro. A lot of American women suck. Not all of them. I know a lot of amazing American women, but a lot of them suck here. I met a crap ton of amazing women in Japan. If you're some guy, I'm just gonna say this, if you're some guy who's struggling with dating in America, get out of the country, you know? I can guarantee you'll find some love out of the country. Maybe, it could be in Japan, maybe it won't be. There are a lot of Americans that are easily able to find love there, man. Especially considering they have, there's a big crisis with their population right now. There's a big crisis with their population right now. They're looking for foreigners, man. You should pull up there, I'm just saying. Go get married, raise a family there. If you find a Saudi there, don't bring her back to America, bro. Just don't do it, because you'll get a much better quality life out of living in a different country, man. And the thing is, wherever country you go to, learn their language, learn their culture, respect their culture. That's really the most important thing you can do. Especially considering myself, like for me, I'm learning the language, I'm learning the culture. I'm really trying to respect them, right? Don't be a typical American, go into a different country and feel like you can tell them what to do, because they're not gonna put up with any of that. You follow their rules, you follow their customs. That's exactly how it should be. These people come to America, nobody has ever really followed our customs or rules. People used to before, but as we've gotten more influx of immigration, it's really not been like that. This whole melting pot idea, it's a scam. It's bullshit, because it's not producing a better quality of life for anybody here in America. It's just making everybody miserable. I don't care what you guys think about it, but it's like, that's just my take on it. So take what I said however the hell you want it. I know it's not your typical running content, but I want to look out for you guys. I want you guys to really take a step outside the United States if you can, or whatever country if you feel like your life's dog shit there. But especially if you're in America, bro, travel outside a bit, man. Like, you'll be so happy. Don't be concerned about, oh, if I move here I won't be able to make as much money. I'm telling you, like, the quality of life you put some, because the thing is like, people pay a shit ton of taxes here, especially here. But it's like, I feel like the input of taxes, especially in America, it's not going to where we want it. And we know that because the people in charge of our country right now aren't Americans. We don't have people who care about America who's in charge of America. The people in power in America right now are not looking out for your best interest. They're not looking out for what's best for the American people in the long run. Because let's be honest, the majority of people who are in power right now are not Americans. America has a lot of outside influence and it's crippling our country. People outside of America don't want to see America succeed. So, and a lot of those people are the ones that are causing an influence in our American government. So why should you stay here if the government's not looking in your best interest? If that were the case, all the taxes that you'd be paying, you wouldn't have as big of a homeless issue. You'd have a lot of your roads repaired. You'd have a significantly better education system. You'd have a lot of people would have much better quality of food. If the government really cared about you, your quality of life would be better. I can promise you that. Because you know who runs the Japanese government? It's Japanese people. It's people who care about the people. They take responsibility. The Japanese government takes responsibility for the people. And that's why their quality of life is so much better. That's all I have to say. Take with what I say, however the hell you want. I'm gonna make some more running content again, but right now I just want to get that out of my chest. Take care.